Hey guys, this is Tara with Teaching on Lemon Lane, and this is a quick product walkthrough of how you can use the Who's in My Corner game. This is a really fun game, and you can use this as a printable or as a digital or even just a mix of the two. One way that I love to use this is during the back to school season when you're trying to get to know your students. Get them up and moving during kind of procedure or expectation reviews. It's a lot of fun. The way that this game is played is it's a lot like Would You Rather or This or That. The only difference is that there are four options to pick from. And students show their responses. If you're doing this as a printable, students show their response by moving to a corner in the classroom. So let's go ahead and talk about kind of that in-person play first, and then we will talk about the digital component that is included as well. Okay, so if you're playing in person or in the classroom, what you're going to do is you're going to print off these pages. So we've got the number 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4, or you could simply just designate which corners are for, which number, and students know to go and stand in them. Another printable counterpart that we have are the questions that I've already pre-made for you. You are welcome to use these. You are welcome to edit them to your own. But essentially, this is your way of just print and go. So if you just simply want to read these questions to your students, you could just read them right off of this printable here. So again, we would say with example number 1, how do you feel about this school year? If you're excited, move to corner number 1. If you're good about it, move to corner number 2. If you're feeling okay about the school year, move to number 3, or if you're nervous, move to number 4. If you're doing this in the classroom, you may even encourage students to look down at their feet as they move towards the corner that they've picked to kind of minimize the peer wanting to be with their friends, wanting to be with the most popular choice options. So maybe have them look at their feet for their first little bit, and then they look up and kind of look around and see where everyone else is, and then you can talk about it or defend it. Some fun ones that you can also do that always get a great reaction is a hot dog a sandwich? What should the color green taste like? How do you feel about Harry Potter? You're going to get some strong reactions there where students are kind of excited to talk about it, which of course is always a great option. If you are in the classroom, I highly recommend that you have students get up and you have them moving. We all know that that is great for the brain, especially when we are in those first few weeks and doing so much review. So it's a good way to get up and moving. Also, with those pre made questions, I have these slides that are already ready to go. So, again, we've got the how do you feel about the school year? You would move to corner 1, 2, 3, or 4. A favorite treat, a favorite subject. I have all 20 of those questions. I've already created a slide that you can display on the whiteboard and ask your students and then have them move. So those are kind of just you're ready to go. There's no prep involved. You don't have to edit or change anything. You can immediately start using that in your classroom. I encourage you to use these pre-made slides in your classroom. It's a great introduction to having students come up with their own questions, which is something that I highly encourage you do because again, this is a fun way for students to connect with each other and for you to get to know your students a little bit better outside those basic, just very surface level questions. So let's dig into that a little bit. How do we have students create their own slides? Or if you want to create your own questions to ask, let's go ahead and look at what it takes to create one of these very easy to use, easy to edit templates. So let's do that next. Okay, so let's say that you are assigning your students to create their own slide, or you want to create a few different questions. And remember, don't limit yourself to just back to school questions. These slides can completely be edited to where if you wanted to use this to review different concepts that you're teaching, you can use these slides to do this. This is a great way to get little snapshot assessments of your students, and you can edit it to your class's needs. But let's stick to kind of those, let's just have fun icebreaker questions. We want a quick way to kind of connect and get to know everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to triple click here. It'll highlight everything and I can create my question or type it. So we'll do what does the color red taste like or should taste like. I've typed my question. I can come down here and I could say that it was created and I put my name down there to show who it was created by. And now I'm going to come up with my different options. We've got watermelon, I triple click to select everything: cherry, raspberry, and strawberry. Now I want to put a picture of each one of these in here, and I can do this so quickly. You're going to love this. So I simply click on the circle where the picture is going to go. I come up here to replace image. I search the web. I look for the first one, watermelon. I click on the one I like the most. I double click and it automatically inserts it into the circle. Next one is cherry. Replace image, search the web. I click enter. I find the picture I like. I double click and it automatically inserts it in. And lastly is raspberry. And I repeat those steps. So now we have our raspberry and we have our strawberry. And we can automatically see if you think red should taste like watermelon, you move to corner number 1, cherry, corner number 2, and then we've got 3 and 4. So students would move to that section of the room. You simply just display this or you ask them. And if you find that you get a question that elicits like a very passionate response from your students, consider exploring that more. If you teach writing, make that one of your writing assignments. Have them with persuasive or argumentative. Come up with their reasons and talk about it and see if we can kind of dive a little bit deeper into that. But again, it's just a fun way to get students talking. Now, we have one more component that I am so excited to share with you about with this activity. If you happen to be in a digital classroom, this activity can be completed completely digitally. You can also use these as a kind of a morning, a soft start, morning meeting, a check in, and as a way to record your attendance. So start the day off every day with one of these questions. What students are going to do is that they're going to create a game piece, as I like to call them, and essentially they would come in, they would log into your collaborative slide. The way that you would do a collaborative slide is you would come up here to File, you would select the slides that you want, and then you're going to make a copy of the selected slides. Again, the slides that you select, you would simply click down, and I single click and I hold Command or Shift or Control depending on which type of device you're using. I go through and I click the slides that I want to use, and then I would come up here to File, make a copy, selected slides. And that, once you've done that, then you're going to come up here to Share, and you could do it to share with anyone in the link. You could share it to the classroom, but essentially you want every student to have access to that same slideshow. That way they can see each other's responses. So let's go back to that question. So here's one where we already have game pieces for each student in the class. We would display this to the class, or they would log into their device as that soft start or digital attendance, or just a way to get to know each other, and they would move their game piece to show their response to the question. So if this person wanted to go to number 2, they would move their game piece there to show which one they were choosing. And again, this is a fun way for students to connect with their classmates and see people that they have things in common with that they may not have thought about from the start. So let me go ahead and show you how to make these game pieces. Notice with the student instructions, I've included these kind of yellow, really bright squares to grab your attention. These are my notes for you as the teacher. You do not need to have this included in the student copy. So you would simply just click on the shape and delete it once you kind of read through my little notes. Basically, what this one is telling you is instead of having students use an actual picture of themselves for the game piece, which is an option and a really great option, but another fun option is to have students actually create a digital avatar representation of themselves. This kind of reduces the anxiety about taking a picture of themselves and being very self-conscious about how they look, and it minimizes that. So students can create a digital avatar of themselves, which you saw on a couple of those options that I use. My favorite options for creating a digital avatar is Pixton, and I've included the link here. This is a free website where each student in your class goes through, they create a digital avatar of themselves. You make one for you. It'll even include a class picture. They can create comics. This is just a really great educator tool to kind of have. So I would have them create their digital avatar. They save that image, the headshot, to their device. And then we come down here to this slide. You'll notice I've got a little arrow kind of nudging you over here because this is where our game pieces are. So what I would have the students do is they would find their class number. So I usually give them a class number based on where they are alphabetically by last name. So let's say student number 1 comes here. They click on the number 1 circle. They're going to come up here to replace image, and then they're going to upload from the computer their digital avatar. I already have mine saved to my device. I double click on it and it automatically inserts that picture into my game piece. Every student would continue to do this. And remember, you're not giving them their own slide where it's a copy of this. Every student is interacting within the same collaborative slide. So you're just sharing the same link with each student. So they go in, student number 2 puts their game piece here, student number 3 puts theirs there. And again, I always say add yours as well. So once, your 32 students add their picture in, why don't you be number 33 and insert your digital avatar as a teacher? As was mentioned, students can even do their own picture as their game piece. So you could say replace image and come down here to camera and do a quick kind of screen grab of your student's face and use that as the game piece. You can even just do a quick Google search of something that they like. However, I like that students can see who it is that they're interacting with. If we were just to put in like a picture of a soccer ball, which I would do by clicking on search the web, not everyone's going to know who they just made a connection with because I'm not sure which soccer ball is which. So again, I encourage either the digital avatar or a picture of your students, because once we go into this fun interaction, students can see who it is that they have things in common with and who it is that they are interacting with. So again, this is just a fun take. Lastly, let's explore the idea again of having students come up with a 4-corner question here. So if we were to do that, we would select every one of these slides, and I believe I've included 30 for you. If that's not enough, you would simply just come to the last one, and you're going to right click on that last one. So I highlight it, and then I right click over here, and I'm going to say duplicate slide. Actually, I've got 36 for you, so hopefully that is enough. If not, you would come over here, and this just became 37. And then what you would do is, again, you're sharing the link to the same slideshow. Do not share the master. This is your master. You need to file and either make a copy of that entire presentation or of the selected slides where you've selected all of these, but do not edit this master. You want to be able to use this for years to come. So students would come in, and then what you're going to have them do is find their class number. So again, if I were student number 4, I would find the slide with number 4. I would type my name here. I would type my question here, and then students are going to follow those same steps. Single click, replace image, search the web, and find something that illustrates the question that I want to poll my classmates on. And then students are going to use those game pieces to show their response or move around the room. If you want students to show their response with those digital avatars or their little game pieces, let me show you the last thing that you need to do. The last thing that you need to do is simply select all of these game pieces. So remember, students would have come in, they would have put all of their pictures into every one of those numbers, and we just simply need to highlight all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. I would have deleted that yellow shape by now, but we'll just keep it in just for learning purposes. I highlight everything, Command copy, or you could come up here and go edit, copy. Once you've made a copy, you're going to go to those question slides, and we're simply going to control paste, and it's going to add in those game pieces. And I'm going to do that to every slide that I intend to poll the class on, that I want to see that digital representation. Again, you can do this as a soft start, as a way to take daily attendance, as a way just to kind of break up the day. But you're going to go in and add those game pieces to every slide that your students need their avatar on, and then they would simply come in, they scroll over, they would find their game piece, and then they're going to move their game piece onto the response that they want to show. Okay, friends, that is everything. If you come across other questions, please email me directly at teachingonlemonlane@gmail.com. I love to hear from you. I love to hear your creative ways of how you are using this in your classroom. So please reach out if you have any questions or great ideas for how you use this. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.